Hello everyone, this is going to be a timeless reading for the shadow work that you've been avoiding. I felt called to make a video today, asked my guides, and that's the storyline that they wanted to give today. Let's see what's going on here. Ten of Wands. There's the burden. Now, depending where you're at in your situation and your timeline, this shadow work, this blockage, this burden that you're carrying has something to do with the obstacle that is blocking your abundance. If it's not money, it could be a resource, the next level up, or a commitment to a person, like a partnership. Page of Cups. Inner child healing work. We talk about this a lot, right? But really, there's just no way around it, you guys. And I think the process that we're going through as a collective shows the importance of manifestation when it comes to the inner child healing. Specifically the root, but also sacral, I think are the biggest blockages with most of the scenarios that we're seeing. So if you feel like that you've been on top of your shadow work, maybe this message doesn't apply to you, but as we always say, healing is linear. There's no final destination point, right? So there's probably like a little bit of reflection going on, at least a little bit. Even I recently felt like I've come such a long way, but at the same time, I've seen recent old habits and triggers popping up again and kind of humbling in a sense. So the Hanged Man here would say that the situation won't move until it's dealt with, and that can be really frustrating. And so Page of Cups, sometimes in the shadow aspect, it can be like a tantrum. So think about, when you don't get your way as a kid, and we've all had that experience, no matter how mature you are. There's been a point in life where frustrations have come up and you've reacted in a certain way that maybe wasn't your best self. So those things are kind of popping up right now. There is a message about the shadow work required. Sometimes you dive too deep where you don't climb yourself out to experience joy. So depending on what timeline you are on, again. And this could have something to do with revisiting something that you've done as a teenager, or a passion that you wanted to pursue as a dream when you were younger. And for whatever reason that was sabotaged, broken, you didn't go near it, whatever, right? Well, Spirit's pushing you in this direction for a reason, and maybe it feels really confusing because it's completely illogical. It goes against the grain of everything that you've been taught thus far. And some of this could have to do with expectations from a boss, someone that you've looked up to or idolized, a mother. There's a lot of maternal energy here. And this could have something to do with something that she gave up for herself or something that she was required to give up in order to maintain you or the household, you know, inner child stuff, right? So balance coming in relationships, especially when it comes to soul family. And then I heard what you're seeking is seeking you. 6 of Cups. Yeah, if you haven't already, you'll come across connections that come from a past life that feel confusingly familiar. But what you'll notice is that I'm hearing like a rise of dopamine. So maybe maybe what you'll notice is that you've been so much in this 4 of Cups energy, just in the grind, in the hustle, day-to-day blah energy, right? And then this person or these people come along and it's a little boost, right? A little boost of glimmer, a little boost of happiness, brightens your day kind of energy. That's really what the 2 of Cups is. So the 6 of Cups and the 2 of Cups, it doesn't always speak of a romantic connection, but I would say they are very strong bonds where it can develop as one for sure. And so that could be happening depending on what's happening in your situation. There's also a call to really take control of the way you take care of yourself and your health. For some of you, you might not be seeing some of these people coming. For others of you, I feel like you've kind of had an idea, but it's a conversation that hasn't happened yet. Things felt, but physically manifesting slowly but surely, for sure, for sure. If you're not the one experiencing this, you might be the one witnessing this. And so I do see a lot of people coming together specifically to help others deal with grief or avoid grief, or because of a lack of resources, because of this kind of 5 of Swords energy, which would speak of winning at all costs. And honestly, it can manifest in so many ways. This can manifest as violence. It can manifest as greed. It can manifest as power plays. Just definitely not a good vibe to be in. Especially with all this fire and Aries energy, right? Is Saturn still in Aries? I can't remember. We were just kind of channeling, so the cards would suggest yes. Let's get into the oracle. Okay, that one wants to come out. Fear. Knight. self-interest at the bottom of the deck. We got teamwork and play. Kind of reiterating some of what we already talked about. So in the spread, I did see like a lot of people coming together in order to deal with grief, avoid grief, or because sharing resources is going to be important for sure. So I think that's why teamwork is here. I just came across a TikTok that talks about the world being your mirror. And there's so many different ways to say this, right? The world is your algorithm. And I think it's interesting that everybody has such strong opinions, but don't realize that they're being fed an algorithm. And it's all based on their perception and the things that they like. So very similar to the 3D world outside of online life, right? I think that's something to be said in the situation that we're all dealing with collectively. But to add another layer, it is apparently impacting our personal world, whether you're dealing with love, romance, family, career, whatever, right? So put this where it applies. Say you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, and you're trying to reach another level up, but you feel creatively blocked. You feel like there's a resource you don't have yet. Whatever the obstacle is, right? Fear is the biggest blockage. And also get honest with yourself, because some of it might have to do with a self-interest. If it's not a selfishness with you, it could be dealing with a selfishness with someone around you that's controlling the situation. I'm also hearing leadership, so it could have to do, if not like, you know, say a parent, family member, a spouse, a friend, whatever. It could be like, you know, a city mayor. It could be like, yeah, put it where it applies, right? Do I have to get specific political? It really just kind of depends where you're at in the world. But I see that happening for sure. There's things happening in the background that would speak of forces out of our control that are unseen. Energies. I feel like there are some projects that you might want to keep low key. Because there's also energies that I feel like may come off as wanting to participate and wanting to team up and work with you, but are actually not part of your tribe, not part of the alignment. So it's going to be an interesting discerning process, but definitely don't ignore those kind of feelings. And I'm getting everything that glitters is not gold. So collectively, I think we're breaking through another layer of an illusion. Whether it's people in higher positions or people that look like they have it all or get a lot of attention, a lot of clout, a lot of numbers, a lot of subscribers, a lot of followers, don't technically have a life that we would want. And I guess it has something to do with this. Let's go deeper into this card. And just grab the guidebook real quick. This has come up quite a few times actually in the last 6 months in other people's readings, so let's got to be a sign, right? All right, displacement. I have to admit, I had a great deal of fun creating this card. So this is by MJ Collinane. She's a Seattle-based artist, writer, and mother, and lover of all things magical, especially crows. I'm reading the back of the guidebook. Okay, carrying on. When a crow is angry, it can't always take out its anger on the source, as it may be gone or too significant a threat. Needing to release, crows will express their displeasure in, at times, destructive ways. Be aware if you are lashing out at someone or taking out your frustration on an innocent bystander because of feeling powerless. Emotions around shame also contribute to displacement. Are you creating cracks in an unrelated relationship because addressing the source of your anger head on is too threatening? And I think we will end it there. I hope that reading was helpful to you guys. If you're interested in getting an in-depth personal reading, go check out my links. I also have a hypsee if you're interested in checking out my other services. I also have a Patreon where I'm creating a safe community for people to express their spiritual experiences, stories. I also have manifestation tips and tools. I created a file folder for all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in that, go check out the Soul Family tier. That's probably where I will put extended video links eventually. So yeah, until next time, see you soon.